Hey folks, how are you? Phillip Davis, Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. How's it going, folks? I got a new look. I'm feeling kind of jiggy right now, if you know what I mean. Driving in the city on this hot day. This heat is so hot, it'll tan a already black person. That's how hot it is out here. It's so hot. It's so hot here. The devil had to go down to hell because it's cooler. That's how hot it is over here, folks. All jokes aside, Phil Davis, Ancestry, just go on ahead, right? Cut off in front of me, you bastard. Driving in this mean streets of Philly, of course. And it's a lovely hot day. Stay hydrated, folks. We're going to get right to it, folks. I'm going to ask you all this question. Okay, you're starting a business. You followed the first steps, the tips that I've discussed before. And now we're going to get down to the parts of, we talked about initially why you should start a business, doing an LLC, choosing the right LLC, understanding your tax expenses, write-offs, benefits. We covered all of that. Now we're moving into the next phase. Once you got your LLC started, okay, you create your product or your services. You start to look at your brand and what your sales commitment is going to be, what your sales pitch is going to be. I wish you'd get your ass out this road, man. What your sales commitment is going to be. And you got to start looking at the data and analyzing your data on a whole. Sorry, I got to put my window up. No, you can't just get over. You can't just get over. You can't just get over. There's a lane here, assholes. Now, look at this guy. This is some bullshit. Man, I'll tell you. Any which way. Yeah, dude, we're trying to go. You can't just cut in front, man. You got to worry about the rest of the people. This is what I'm talking about, man. Selfish driving. Selfish driving. Look at him. Just causing chaos, man. Just causing unnecessary chaos. For what? For what is the question? For what? You could have waited until these cars cleared through. But of course he's not. Of course he's not. Schmuck. I might have to cut this out of the video. I don't want to get demonetized. Any which way, I'm the hell with it. Any which way. So we talked about with, of course, I'm not the only one, apparently. Look at that. That's crazy. What are you beeping your horn for? To get right behind him? Are you kidding me over here? Okay, lady in the middle again. You're just going to get over one car in front of me. Go ahead and go get over. You're fine. You won. Any which way. Okay, so we talked about that setup, the initial phase. All right, so in my experience, when I first started out in my business, I had to figure out what my product or what my area to target and market is. This will take a while. So the reason why I'm doing these videos is because, you know, when you're looking at where I'm at now, that's not where I started. I went through some hellish days to get to the point where I'm successful, to get to the point where, you know, even my wife forgets what I had to go through to get to this point. Most of the people who are with me now, who are all about Ancestry Lands and supportive and things like that, they weren't there during this time. That was non-existent form of support that I did not have at that time in my life. It wasn't there. And I had to do all of this legwork that you see being done right now. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. One thing you can do when you're driving, and I say this all the time, when you're driving and you're going to cut in front of somebody, at least wave your hand and tell them, hey, thank you. Appreciate it. You know, because then you're not being a jerk. Any which way. This guy up in front, look how many cars lengths are ahead of him. Any which way. Okay, so when you're going through all of that time period trying to figure that out, even the best business plan, which I talked about in other videos, that business plan will still need to be changed and altered. You will not hit it out the park. So rarely do people do. When I first bought land, I bought land and centered around Northern California because that's where I was. Come to find out that it would be Southern California where I would find properties, and that would be where Ancestry Lands finds its home at now. That would be where I'm going to be buying and selling my product out of. Okay? And when I say that, it's because that will be lateral to many of the people out there who are trying to find their consumer base. They're trying to get a way to get inside of into their market, the area where sales happen. This is how you're going to try to get into the microeconomics of, you know, your industry. You're trying to get into that industry, and you're going to have to do that, and it's going to take some time. So again, this is why those other videos about, oh man, that's a cool bicycle, man. Yes, out here in Pennsylvania, you do not, what is this guy, man? What is he doing, man? What is he on? Holiday? I mean, okay, you got a BMW. Great job. Is that a BMW? No, it's an Audi. I mean, drive like the people in the commercials. Whatever. So, it's going to take time. Why I have done in the previous videos about mindset and making sure you're mentally tough, because again, real success, or success without the Jeff Bezos cash infusion, without, you know, the Donald Trump $1 million loan from your dad, which you never need to pay back, without that startup money, that startup capital, if you're doing it the old school way where you're going to self-fund your business, it's going to take a lot longer. People are going to want you to have $1 million lottery ticket outcomes, like, you know, I hit the lottery today, and overnight success, and that's not how it's going to happen. It's not going to happen that way. So you got to understand that this is going to take time, and you got to be in it for the long haul. So if you look at why does this channel about real estate start to move into adding on to mindset, because you've seen the properties. People see the value on why you should own land. But there's a mindset that goes behind people who want to own land, become a land baron, and also become people who are multiple land property holders. You can own 1 or 2 properties, or 3 or 5 properties, and you still can create ways to make income, multiple streams of income with each property if you do it right. And I've talked about that in plenty of other videos, and I will touch on that continuously in the future. So again, when you're starting out, it is going to take you time. First of all, you're going to have to build some brand awareness. You cannot just think that because you're on social media that you're going to immediately rise to the top because you have an awesome product, which most likely has the support of you and your immediate family members. That doesn't work. Even if you are offering a service like, let's just say soda, a new soda has to be accepted by the public through advertising, brand awareness, and getting it out into the masses to be able to be kind of like a standard. You know, like Fresca. I remember Fresca came out. There was no Fresca when I was like a child, and then Fresca came out, and it was a new thing that was in. Ginger ale's always been around since the dawn of time of sodas. So was Pepsi, or a cola base, right? And then you have some of them fall off. Then you find out there are sodas that you never even heard of, like Mr. Pibbs. A lot of people never heard of Mr. Pibbs. They heard of Dr. Pepper. You know, then you get ones like Cherry Cola and things like that, and people start to migrate towards these brands because they have longevity. And the key word, even with success, you're going to have longevity, or else you're just an overnight celebrity. So again, the key to lasting success, I'm going to say that again because those are bars. The key to having lasting success is you're going to have longevity. Even if you do it in a 10-year window, a business has been around for 10 years, you're just an overnight celebrity. Because real businesses have decades of services. Those are the giants in the games. And you can't sell yourself short with always defeating yourself before you even had a chance to run the race. That's like running a marathon and only committing to doing 25 miles, even though a marathon's like 26 miles, a full marathon. You know, are you going to do a mile race and you're going to start off by doing 3 laps? You're not going to just do a mile and commit to the worst time that you're going to make and then come down from there. You're just going to commit to, I'm going to do 3 laps of a mile. You ain't running the damn mile. You're running less than a mile. Because if you were to commit to 3 laps, you would run 3 strong laps and commit to that time, then add a lap. But again, your mindset is training you on losing first by picking a losing win. by picking a losing win. When I say a losing win, is something that you can win at that is less than the actual goal. So you give yourself a substandard goal, like I'm gonna run 3 laps of a mile, which is 4 laps around a regular Olympic-sized track. It's a full 4 laps. And you're gonna set the bar at 3, which is not the goal, and you're gonna pick a lose to win, a loss. You're gonna lose to win, to make yourself feel better because you managed to get 3 laps out of the 4. And 75% is somewhat of an achievable outcome for you. That's a desirable goal. And that's not, you cannot sell yourself short like that. So when we translate that over to running, you can't run a race like that. You can't run 3 laps out of a mile and say, I finished. No, you didn't finish the race. That's DNF, did not finish. The Olympics are coming up, so you should know these terms. So again, when you are starting out a business, you have to understand that longevity has to be in the front end of your mind. You can't cross the finish line before you start. You have to think about the race you're running in your business and be able to understand that you have to enter in your industry and make your presence known. You have to make your business known and build up what we call brand awareness. You got to make sure that what you're doing is promoting your brand and getting others to promote your brand, which is what social media is used for. Now, the biggest mistake that most people make, they actually make this mistake very early, is that they do not take the time to do a pre-launch of their brand. When I say a pre-launch, meaning that you get all your arsenal set up very early. You get all your posts, your reels, you get your content posting strategy started very early before you actually are ready to launch. I learned this from 2 gentlemen that I used to do business with when I was brought in as an equity partner. And in order to do a podcast like on Spotify or something like that, you had to have 30 episodes already queued up, which may have changed now, but you had to have that many episodes queued up in order to be able to start the podcast and actually put the episodes out. And the reason being is that when you're going to start an actual podcast, like on Spotify, they don't want to have to wait for your content to go day by day. You got to be pushing out content or episodes, so you need to have that front 30. And I also told you guys about why a lot of places do that is because it's also a barrier to entry. When I say a barrier to entry, what I specifically mean is that if some people will not take the effort to do 30 episodes and really record content, but the people who can submit that, at least it's an ante, it's skin in the game. They know that you have the intent to be serious, because what you don't want in your business is to have a fly-by-night mindset. I'm just going to do this for today for a week. It's like, I got a little hustle going on, that hustle culture. When I say hustle culture, there's 2 forms of a hustle. Hustle is, I'm going to get this money real quick for a short term and make my little scratch, or I'm going to make a little couple dollars and then I'm going to run. And there's another hustle is that I'm going to be busy as a bee or an ant, and I'm going to hustle and move fast and move quick every day and contribute towards building up my colony that is my business. Because both ants and bees have colonies. And they build them up super big the busier they are. So again, the lazy dog doesn't get fed. And in your business, it is going to take time for you to see that level of maturity in your business where you can start to see the gains, the outcomes of your work, the measure of your discipline. Shout out to Don Coombs. The measure of your discipline start to produce qualified outcomes. Shout out to myself. When you start seeing those qualified outcomes, it's the same as akin to most athletes. You don't see them become superstars until they're adults. Michael Jordan wasn't great at basketball when he was in high school. He was great at basketball when he got to the NBA. So again, skills or legends have to be groomed along the way. You have to be nurtured along the way. A tree that gives good fruit has to be nurtured along the way. The fruit doesn't just come up with the first little stem or stalk that comes out. Flowers do when they bloom when they have their full maturity. There's a process to that maturation, and your business needs to mature. Well, you got to think of your business when you started out as an idea. That's just a seed that's within you. What you do is you plant that seed into the world and you start to gestate your business into the ether that is social media, into the consciousness of the people who will be your clients, customers, viewers, subscribers, followers, etc., etc. And once they automatically start to be aware and they have a consciousness of your brand, of your content, you can begin now to start to see some of those profits, that income come back. Now, the question is next, when that happens, what do you do? Like I said, when that happens, a baby gestates for 9 months, for 40 weeks. And at some point, the baby is now able to come out to the world because all the development of that baby, you as a human, we all went through this process where we developed enough where we could survive independent of the connection that is the umbilical cord to our mothers. That nutrition, we are able to survive on our own as a newborn can. Because you see newborns that are born early, they'll have to go to the NICU, things like that, and get breathing devices and extra nutrition in order to mature to the point that they can be independent of medical treatment or therapy. So the same thing has to happen with you and your business. And that's the problem. A lot of people have these fly-by-night businesses, but again, to the long-term thinkers, the people who think in longevity, you've got to really do a great job of making sure that you have your brand ready and set to go. Now, in some cases like mine, I thought of the brand, it was already there, and it kind of all came out slowly, and it wasn't a frontline development. Now, again, I didn't start out in any form of business. I learned from the School of Hard Knocks. So I'm telling you what I know now after, since doing this in 2018, 6 years of business. This is where I would start my kids out. What I have now as a finished product would be where they start at. So we would be launching on social media on all cylinders. I didn't start that way. But again, you can skip the line. What I'm doing is telling you, use the knowledge I give you to skip the line. Now, again, all knowledge is nothing without application. The question is, do you apply the knowledge that you're being taught, or are you looking for someone else to do it for you? Can you apply that knowledge that you're given? And a lot of times, this is the other thing that I want to talk about in your business when you're starting that is a big issue. See, they're pulling over somebody. They got him. Look at him. Look at him. Yeah, they pulled you over. Look, he ain't even listen. He's so entitled. He don't understand. I mean, it's a long way down over that ledge, man. Cop just pushed it right over. Any which way. So he was being non-compliant. That's how the story goes. White on white crime. So, any which way, the other part is too, and this is something I'm against. I'm going to tell you something that's super controversial that I'm against. And this is something that I've learned from experience. When you are starting your business, you need to learn and understand and do every facet of your business except for something that is way beyond your technical expertise. The reason why I say this is that you need to know the ins, the outs and ins of your business. Because again, how do you know someone's not manipulating your price? How do you know when you ask for a service that someone's not manipulating you on the cost of a product or services that they're providing? When you do it yourself, you have a sense of, you build a foundation within yourself because again, you know what work, let me try to say this the correct way. You know the amount of work that you put in to get things started in every facet of your business, and you can quantify when someone is adding value or taking away value or not doing anything at all to add value to your business and the work that you delegate to them. All right, so let me try to run that back and make that more coherent. The reason why, if you learn the things you need to do in your business, like, you know, for me, Lan, I did the posting, I did my own accounting, then I got an accountant. So when I had to do my own accounting for money coming in, what I expended in the business, and actually had to come to do tax time, that document preparation, I understood what that took. So as my business scaled up and I got to higher levels where you're doing 50, 60, 70 notes, meaning people making payments to me, and I've got to manage that money, send people invoices and X, Y, Z, and then it comes time to make sure my taxes are right. When I got a tax accountant that was for a land business, when I had to pay them $2,000 to do my W-2 and my 1099 or Schedule C taxes, when I had to get them to do that, my business taxes, I understood why it cost me more than it does if you do it at H&R Block. I understood that. My wife, who does not have a business and did not do a business at that time, she didn't understand why it was costing us so much to do our taxes. She didn't understand when you're paying an accountant to do that, they're doing your taxes in different states where you make property. Because again, we have properties in California, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona at the time. That's 4 states. Oh, and also we live in Pennsylvania. So 5 state taxes that you got to do income taxes for. And that knowledge helps you to understand that when your business grows beyond one property, because they were in California first, and then they start moving into different states, there are things you have to know and understand so you don't trip yourself up into legal trouble. And without the mind and knowledge to apply that knowledge, you can't determine what the worth of your product or services, or the people who are consultants in your business, you can't determine what their pay is based upon the work that is. They decide their price. You're not deciding the price. And the more people dictate to you their price, the more you're going to be paying out your pocket. So again, the more people dictate to you, there's a big bump there, that's why you go up. The more people can dictate to you your price, the more they can dictate to you about your price and tell you your price is wrong, you need to pay my price, the more you're going to pay out your pocket. That's another bar right there, man. So again, we're going to continue on and build upon this because I don't want to get too bogged down. But remember, when you start your business, I'm going to leave you with these cliff notes. When you start your business, remember, you got to think longevity. You got to understand that you're going to need time and patience. You're going to have to build brand awareness, and you're going to have to gestate your brand, your business into the minds of your potential buyers, your clients. You got to develop some marketing strategies, and you've got to have a plan, and you got to be able to do the work, and you got to be able to apply the knowledge that you're gaining from this channel by subscribing and liking this video. Leave a comment below. And also my book on understanding real estate and investing in real estate tells you exactly why you're missing out on this opportunity to own land. And that's on ancestrylands.com. The link is in the description section. Also to my book, Getting Dollars from Dirt, A Beginner's Guide to Vacant Land Investing, that you can find on Amazon. The link is in the description section below. Folks, I hope you've been educated, enlightened, and so entertained. I apologize. Well, actually, I don't apologize because there are nut jobs in the city. People just don't drive. They only think of themselves, and they're not worried about how they interact with the other drivers around them. And be cognizant of that, folks. Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. I hope you've been educated, enlightened, and entertained. Remember, folks, if you don't own property, you'll be owned as property. Phillip Davis, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Are you confused with today's real estate market? With high interest rates and overpriced housing, it can be hard to find something to own at the right price. Available on Amazon, Getting Dollars from Dirt by author Phillip H. Davis is a game-changing book that invites you to embark on a thrilling exploration of this often overlooked asset class. This book is your roadmap to unlocking the secrets of vacant land investment. Inside these pages, you will uncover the transformative power of vacant land as a wealth-building tool. Discover how to spot promising properties, assess their true value, and capitalize on market trends. From understanding zoning and permits to leveraging financing strategies, you will gain the knowledge and confidence to make savvy investment decisions. With each page you turn, you will gain a deeper understanding of the profound impact your investments can have on the world around you. Getting Dollars from Dirt is not just a guidebook, it's a call to action. Whether you're a seasoned investor or a curious novice, this book will empower you to tap into the immense potential of vacant land and embark on a journey toward financial freedom and a brighter future.